You just think he could grab that van right now.
Yeah.
And just
Yeet it.
yeet it. Hello everybody, welcome to day 3 of Bauma. It's technically day 4, it's BuildWitt day 3, and we are gonna give you an overview of the Liebherr Booth, the biggest booth at Bauma. As you can see behind me, we have a material handler doing material handler things. Very cool, it's very quiet because it's an electric machine running. You can see the power cable in the side there. So we're gonna run around the booth, we're gonna look at some earth moving machines, some demolition machines, maybe even some foundation machines. Liebherr, we visited with them last April. We saw a few of the factories, formed a lot of fantastic relationships with this company. So I'm really excited to see what they have here today. Let's go check it out. Check it out. That is terrifying. This cab setup here, it's for the sake of visibility. Oh wow, we might get a tour of this machine unexpectedly. Good morning.
Morning. You know, I mean, Kirchhoff.
Yeah.
The dumper, yes?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Hi.
Very cool.
Yes, I think so.
Yeah.
I know this guy. Come on.
So we're in the material handler right now, unexpectedly. We met in April in testing the articulated trucks. So now it'll go?
Yes.
So, this is pretty cool.
Yes, very nice.
Wow. So we're now lifting the cab up, as you can see. This is huge. Is this the biggest one?
Yes.
Yeah. How's it feel out there?
Super safe. I'm honestly just focusing on filming, to be honest.
Yeah, this is pretty cool. Oh, and that opens and closes it.
So?
It's the church bell.
Yeah. Welcome to Bauma 2022. Very cool, but also very scary. Yeah, first time running a material handler. Not ideal conditions.
You don't want to interrupt the meetings happening.
Right behind us.
No. Of this too.
Oh my gosh. Oh my god. As someone on the outside of the machine.
That does not feel good.
Not letting go.
Well, this is fun.
What access?
Yeah. Okay. Wow.
Anyone can do this.
Wow. I was not expecting that at all. They just let me swing this. Like, look at this. It is the size of that. You could pick that car up, no problem.
So welcome to Liebherr.
Welcome to Liebherr. Let's go actually see the booth. To start the tour of the Liebherr booth, now that we got the small little material handle out of the way, this right here, see that spinny thing? That is a tunneling excavator. So what that will do is you have to imagine this machine in a tunnel and it's working at a rock face, advancing that tunnel. So it'll sit there and just eat away at the material, turning that solid rock into little chips that they can then remove from the tunnel, creating that cavity, that open space. The interesting thing about this machine and this exhibit in particular is that it's all alternative energy. No machines in here are run off diesel fuel. This machine right here is electric, so it has a trailing cable in the back, and then it does have an onboard battery system as well. So if you need to take the trailing cable out, reposition the machine, you don't need that constant power, but while it's running, it's typically feeding that consistent power, which is what's happening right now. You can see on the top of the machine, the way the stick is designed is for tunneling. So as it's digging around, sometimes up above itself, it's gonna have a lot of material falling on the machine. And you can see everything is designed to protect those cylinders within that stick from damage as it's doing the tunneling. This machine is built only for one thing, and that is tunneling. Big deal in Europe, not so big in the United States, but lots of rail and lots of car truck tunnels in this continent, on this continent, in this country. So these machines are extremely popular. You can also use this machine to destroy your enemies. So this excavator right behind me is a pretty large machine. It looks like roughly a 50-ton excavator, but it's different than most 50-ton excavators, all 50-ton excavators, because it's not running on diesel, it's running on hydrogen. So they partnered with Total Energy. It's all liquid hydrogen that's powering this machine. So it has an onboard liquid hydrogen tank, and that's what's making this machine go. But as you can see, it's a perfectly functional excavator. They're moving around rocks with it. And you can see by the sticker on the machine that it won the Bauma 2022 Innovation Award. What does that mean? I don't know, but it says it on the machine, which sounds pretty legit. So this is the new Liebherr R992. Okay, so you can actually have this machine an excavator, backhoe configuration like this is, or front shovel configuration. But here in backhoe excavator configuration, the weight is about 210,000 pounds. This is a very heavy machine, and the bucket size is just under 9 yards. Most of the manufacturers have different deals with these technology companies. So you have Trimble with Cat, Topcon with Deere, and then Liebherr has a partnership with Leica. But as everybody in the real world knows, very, very rarely does any kind of company use just one kind of machine. So you want your machines to be compatible with any kind of technology. So this is just to demonstrate that, hey, I wanted to buy some Liebherr equipment, but I have a lot of money wrapped up in my Trimble system. They're like, that's fine. We can equip to your machine with Trimble, with Topcon, with Leica, whatever you want. And that's what truly makes Liebherr remarkably unique. They are very proud of customizing every kind of machine they make for any kind of customer application available. So if they don't do something currently and a customer says, hey, I want this, they say, great, let's go do it together. And that's how they've developed a lot of their equipment. They started with just cranes, but as you can see, they make a hell of a lot more than that nowadays. And that's because of their open-minded approach of whatever the customer wants, we'll make. So when we toured the excavator factory, something they pointed out was no two machines here are the same. They make every machine built specifically for customer orders. So they don't build that machine, that 936 excavator, until I say, I want a 936 excavator and here's exactly how I want it. And they say, okay, we'll go do that for you. The second largest dozer Liebherr makes comparatively, it's probably, if I had to guess, like a John Deere 1050K, a Caterpillar D9, roughly a D9, so it's a large machine. This is the Liebherr 766. The biggest dozer Liebherr makes is the 776. But this is no small machine. We learned yesterday about these tags. So these tags are on most of these mobile machines. So all these loaders have these numbers on them, and that wheeled excavator does too. So there's 20, 20, 20, 40, 40. And this is to indicate that this machine is allowed to go 40 kilometers per hour. So if this machine is clocked at over 40 kilometers per hour, they will get a speeding ticket. So this is Liebherr's rail excavator, rail machine. You can see it's sitting on some sample tracks. The drive system is a little bit different here. You can see the tires, actually the inner tires rest on the rails, which is different than the rail machine we saw at another booth. A little bit different of a design, a little bit smaller of a machine, but here they have all the different tools all surrounding the machine. And this is a great example. I like that they have it set up because you can see that they have this Liebherr built coupler. So Oil Quick, there's some other companies that build these couplers. Liebherr builds their own coupler as well. It's not just a coupler. Typically in America, you'll see a coupler, you can grab onto attachments, but the special thing is you have this block and this block. And what this block and this block does, they plug into each other essentially, and it gives the hydraulic pressure to attach the hoses, gives the hydraulic pressure gives whatever else the attachment needs to do whatever you need to do. So there's no connecting hoses or anything like that. You can take this rotating set of forks off. You can go put that tilt bucket on. You can then put this hammer on. You can do whatever you want with it because of this block setup. And the cool thing is with the Liebherr setup as well, Liebherr, they don't just make the block machine, but they make the attachments as well. There's essentially this scanner, this code. It's not a scanner, it's not a code. It's something electronic within this block that once this attaches to the machine says, ah yes, it's the rotating forks. Great, here's the hydraulic pressure I need to apply to this specific attachment so that you can go to work without having to select the tool, without having to adjust the pressures, because each one of these tools requires a different kind of pressure, a different kind of energy from the machine to utilize efficiently. So with this setup, you're making it as easy as possible for the operators.
Everything
Good
okay?
morning.
Morning.
Good morning.
I see you far away in the YouTube, in the underground this morning.
You're presenting this machine today?
Yes, the customer comes this afternoon at 2 o'clock. We will
Take pictures?
because Alba organized it's a photograph company.
So we're now going to tour what is Liebherr's biggest factory demolition machine,
Yeah.
the 980 demolition excavator. And funny enough, we saw this specific machine being assembled in Colmar, but it was just the body and the tracks. There was no boom on it yet, so it looks a hell of a lot bigger right now.
This is hydraulic. You have in the middle 2 pistons.
Yeah. So it can drop the counterweight.
Yes, with chain. And here you can see behind the 2 cylinders.
Yeah.
You have to unscrew here, and you bring everything down. And here it's 34 tons, which go down.
34 tons?
34 tons. Yeah. Because the counterweight with the cylinder is 37 tons.
Wow. And you can, are there hydraulic jacks
Yes,
in here too?
We show on the side you can have without. It depends the customer.
Yeah.
If he wants to dismount the track frame, you need the jacket cylinder to move it in the air. But
And then take the tracks
first you have to dismount the attachment, and you have to dismount the counterweight.
Really?
The basi boom can stay on the place, and after we move all
Okay.
the weight.
Yeah.
And after you can unscrew on the side, and you put the track
Yeah,
away,
yeah.
and it's approximately 90 ton you put away on each side.
90 ton.
19.
19.
19.
19. That
That's
makes
19 ton on each side. You put.
How much does the machine weigh in total?
It's approximately 190 ton.
190.
190. Yes.
And this is the biggest demolition machine Liebherr makes at the factory.
At 100% Liebherr.
100% Liebherr.
Because you see the RX.
Yeah, the
or
RX.
The Construction.
Yeah.
That's not Liebherr, which they sell a basic machine, and it's correct for modify everything.
Okay. Are they going to keep this boom?
This is an intermediate boom
Yeah.
only for this attachment.
Ah,
So
okay.
it can go down to 42 meters
Yeah.
because it's a 6 meter extension.
Okay.
What you have.
So you can remove that 6 meters.
So it goes down.
Yeah.
But you have the same tool weight because it's the limitations in the hydraulic cylinder from the stick or for the bucket.
Okay.
Not for the tool.
Okay.
And for transport here,
Yeah.
the adapter.
Oh, you can
plate,
take all of this out.
the basic boom and the cylinder goes away in one pieces.
Is that
And
right?
it's also 22 tons you move away. So when you transport the machine, you have approximately 60 tons.
Really?
Because more and more in Europe, you see, when you have to transport, it's complicated to give the authorization and also.
Yeah. Huh.
Here we just put it. These are just protection here because on the fair, you must stop the hydraulic cylinder. They do not have the right to move.
Oh.
If you make a try, you put on each side 2 protection because it's too dangerous if something comes
Yeah.
down.
Yeah.
That's why.
So and you can run it with a much shorter configuration too, can't you?
Yes, he also orders a 2-piece boom,
Yeah.
and
Okay.
then you have a 50-ton tools.
Okay. So then it's basically a typical excavator.
It's basically like
Yeah.
okay, it's much more for demolition.
Yeah.
It's not to go in the deep and to work
Yeah.
because you have everything here is very heavy.
Yeah.
So you have not so the I would say the speed as a standard machine.
It's amazing. It's a big machine.
Yeah, it's a big machine. Yeah, well.
And then the tracks, do the tracks push
It's
out?
Outside. It's outside. It's hydraulic outside.
Okay.
That means the driver stays in the cab.
Yeah.
he press a button and he press the foot pedal.
To extend the track?
He has not to go outside or something. Everything from the cab. And all the function in the cab are on the joystick.
Really?
Yeah, the cab he has on this joystick, open, closing the shear, the rotating of the shear, the whipper, front whipper, and whipper on the top. Everything is because we want that the driver is concentrated on his machine, on his job.
Is there a camera?
There is a camera. You see the camera on the top here. On the top and you have the protection. He has the camera. He has also our Liebherr demolition control, where he see exactly how you move the arm.
Okay.
And he has also the information. You are in the green area, orange area, red, and you have to stop in the red.
Wow.
That we give every information to.
60 meters is a long way.
60 meters, it's very. Arrega, you see, it's by 72.
72?
Yeah, Arrega, but the machine is 300 ton.
Yeah.
We say here approximately 200 ton. Arrega is 300 tons.
Wow.
It's not the same.
So you have to add that much weight to go any higher.
Yeah, because you need. I say it's not complicated to do such machine. It's already you need weight. Because you have to compensate the center of gravity or everything. It's physics.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's perhaps easy to say, but it's the physics. You cannot change the physics.
Yeah. How long have you been doing this? Like working at Liebherr?
By Liebherr?
Yeah.
37 years.
37 years?
Yeah, 37 years. I was 26 years in the technical office, responsible for attachment, for special machine, and now I move for 11 years in the sales department and product manager for demolition.
That's amazing.
That's why.
So the customer comes to you, like this customer, they come to you and say, this is what we want to do.
Sometimes, because it is a fourth machine, we have. Sometimes you show me, we say, okay, we do this for this company, it's okay. It's match your request or not, or we have to do some special. He will be the first one with a 60-meter telescopic boom. The first machine by AVR.
Really?
Got the 55-meter telescopic.
You said this is the fourth machine?
Fourth machine, yes. That's the fourth machine.
Wow.
And the first machine goes in the field last year in March, and now he has more than 1,000 hours.
Right.
The machine already was very good, with different configuration also, short boom, intermediate attachment, or big attachment.
Is this the biggest factory demolition machine?
Yes, that's the biggest what we do. It's by us in Colmar.
Yeah.
Also, CAT doesn't have this size, Cobelco, I think, yes, but not basis on excavator, much more on crane.
Yeah.
Cable crane, they take the cable crane, basic machine to do this.
Amazing.
We are proud about our product.
Yeah.
Customer comes, they see it, it's nice. And when you see the dimension, and also we try to do things which are very strong, because it's a tough application, demolition, etc. We have to be careful with what we do. Mm-hmm. And you know, I say always, it's a K machine on the job side. If you have a problem with this, the job side is, you wait for that you can demolish with this machine.
Yeah. Okay, well, this is great.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you so much. Lee Gummy Bears.
That's why we call it the unplugged bull bar.
Okay.
Unplugged means, so these, all the three machines, even the crawler crane, they are unplugged machines. And unplugged means, unplugged is synonym for battery driven.
Really?
So these are real new machines in foundation industry. These are battery driven drilling rigs and piling rigs.
Really?
So this one is a battery driven LB30 drilling rig. 30 means, as indicated on the machine, 30 meter ton. It shows the torque. So what's the torque?
Yeah.
So the capability of the machine to drill, actually.
Sure.
So that's the torque is the indicator for the capability to drill. And 30 means 30 meter ton, or 300 kilonewton meter. And the theory is, so this machine is capable of drilling with a diameter of up to 3.5 meter.
Wow.
And that's quite something.
So the greater the diameter, the greater the torque you need. Yeah.
The greater diameter, the greater the torque. But it's a mixture of both, you know, of torque, but also drilling depth. So so drilling diameter and the drilling depth, the wider the diameter, the less depth you're going to reach, of course. So
because there's more friction.
Yeah, that's right, more friction. The capability is to drill down to 70 meter. And with this configuration, it could be even go down to 70 meter in depth. But the wider the drilling diameter, so as soon as it's 3 meter, you can maybe reach 40 meters, something like that. But the new thing with the machine is they're unplugged, battery driven, so they're charged. They're capable of working 4 to 5 hours with battery charged, and afterwards they have to be plugged. They have to be plugged again. We had in 2019 at Bauma actually the first battery-driven drilling rig worldwide, and it was a real novelty. So the industry was really stunned because these are high-performance machines, and no one had expected that it would be possible to operate these machines battery-driven.
No, it's quite surprising because you need a lot of power.
Absolutely.
A lot of power for drilling.
The drilling machine actually needs most power. So this machine has a nominal engine power of 390 kilowatt. If we compare it to the piling rig, and that's what you see here is a piling rig, this has less engine power, 255 kilowatt. So that's why the battery size of this machine is higher dimension, has more battery modules than the battery size of the piling rig.
That makes sense.
Because a piling rig doesn't need so much energy to kind of make sure that the hammer to kind of operate the hammer.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah. This kind of equipment, super fascinating to me. So, excellent.
Good, thank you very much.
Great to meet you. So, funny enough, we saw, this is the Liebherr 9300. This is their newest mining excavator. We saw this exact machine on the assembly line in Colmar when we were visiting Liebherr in April. But they said, hey, this is a prototype machine. Technically, it doesn't exist yet, but we're unveiling it at Bauma. And then also, so this is serial number 2. We saw serial number 1 behind the factory. They were doing some testing with it, and it was in the background of some of our videos, so we couldn't post some of our videos because of this machine being secret at the time. But now, obviously, everybody knows about it.
Service, digital solutions. And we always have the biggest machine here. This is the Marktplatz, called the Marktplatz. And regarding the booth, the construction of the booth is like 6 months.
6 months?
Yes.
This is the second largest truck.
Yep.
The T274, he said it's like a 300-ton truck, roughly?
305.
305. So it's all Liebherr components in the truck?
Liebherr engine, Liebherr drive system.
Yeah.
And then everything on the front wheels, the planetaries, is all designed by Liebherr.
Okay. Yep. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Trolley system.
Yep.
How the hell does that work?
So what happens is the truck still needs a diesel engine. The diesel engine is going to give it the power to get to a trolley line, and then the trolley line is just like in the like underground or the trolley cars in San Francisco. So you'll have electrical lines up top. It'll collect the overhead power there. That power will actually bypass the diesel engine and then power the electric motors in the back. So what happens is the truck actually goes uphill. The diesel engine will drop down to idle. So you go from consuming about 600 liters down to 30 liters.
But the diesel engine's still
It's still
running.
turning because it's just giving you your hydraulic pumps functionality. So it's turning at a low idle kind of. It's just giving the pumps and giving you the hydraulics to basically steer. And
Sure. So it's diesel electric. So you have 2 electric drive.
2 electric motors, 1 at each end, diesel engine.
Okay.
And that's basically spinning a generator, and that's creating the AC.
Okay.
And the AC is switched on a little bit to DC, some little funky stuff, and then it basically powers 2 big electric motors in the back, just like a remote control car or something, and then it has a gear set in there, and it's spinning the gears.
So the premise, to explain it in layman terms, you have 2 electric drives that make the thing go.
Yep.
It needs power from something. So primarily you're using the diesel engine to turn diesel into electricity.
Yep.
And then when you're on more fixed haul roads,
when you have
you can
trolley systems,
leverage the trolley system.
You need to put in,
Yeah.
and then those little scissor pantographs will connect to that, and that'll drop the voltage down into the
But that'll be over kind of like your main haul road. That's not changing.
Yep.
So you put in that infrastructure, and then you get into the pit. Haul roads are changing.
Usually people run about 1 kilometer. The longest one is up to 5 kilometers long. They're
Really?
actually using that.
Really?
And so the main paradigm shift in the industry now is because of the zero emission push for 2030, 2050, trying to get rid of as much diesel as possible, people are using trolley in longer and longer distances. So this one customer that we have in Austria has put it in 5 kilometers, which is the longest one in the world, and they're able to drop their diesel fuel consumption by 80%.
By 80?
Yeah, it's huge. So, and it's kind of linear depending on how long the profile is, how much you put in. If you put in 50%, it's almost like 50%.
Oh, but what's
60%.
So is it cheaper to use just straight electricity?
Electricity is always going to be, and it is today, it's always cheaper than diesel fuel. The issue is, or the hesitation has been traditionally, is that if I have to put that in, I have to usually put it somewhere that it stays, right? So you have to tension it down. It has some big concrete pillars you put in the ground. And the flexibility is what mine's like. So when commodity prices are real high, they want to go and move as much material as possible, go over here. Maybe the mine plan changes differently based on customer demand, so they like that flexibility to move around in an operation. This basically gives you kind of like a fixed infrastructure, and so people were like, well, if I have a really, flexible, I want to be able to change my mine plan on a regular basis, trolley doesn't work for me. They've been using diesel. Diesel lets you just go anywhere you want to go.
That's interesting. Can you explain? I understand autonomy. We've talked a lot about that.
Yeah.
Semi-autonomy.
So semi-autonomy, it's basically trying to get efficiency with people. You drive a car one way, I drive a car one way. In the mine site, you have 50 of these trucks. Each truck's going to have 4 operators, because you're going to have a day shift and a night shift, and then you're going to have a swing shift. Right? So you have that wide variability in the mindset of how you would do something versus somebody wants. What the mine would like from operations, and obviously the people that are looking at the numbers, they want it to be as consistent as possible. I want to maximize my efficiency throughout the haul cycle.
Okay.
So what the semi-autonomous function does, there's still an operator in the cab. We have 2 solutions. The first solution is probably the easiest to explain. In a mine site, you're going to have you can have big crushers, right? So instead of taking the material a really, really long distance, they'll take the material to a crusher, they'll dump it, and then they'll convey it basically to some other area. But that's a fixed infrastructure, and backing up a car is hard enough. You can imagine backing up something this big, right? So what the semi-autonomous function does is it will basically create a little virtual mine area where this crusher is. Once the truck enters this zone, it'll tell the operator, boop, I'm in this zone. It gives them a visual cue and audio cue. It'll say, take your hands off the wheel. The truck will automatically position itself to reverse. It'll give the operator another cue and say, please put it in reverse down. And the only thing the operator is doing is managing the accelerator pedal. And the truck is auto steering and adjusting the speed as it gets into this crusher pocket.
Wow.
Then you don't have any potentials for damage.
Yeah.
And then you also basically are maximizing that time that somebody does that. Because you do it, you may take 30 seconds, I do it, I may take 45 seconds. You're taking out that variability, and then you don't have to take that ultimate leap of autonomy, which is the price point on autonomy is here, full autonomy. Semi-autonomous is a step, a small step.
Yeah.
What we've also done is we've taken that functionality and put it into the trolley system too as well. So if I have a kilometer of trolley, I want people to get on as soon as possible, and I want them to get off at the very end. I may get on here and then get off here, and you may do it right and get on and off at the right spots. The semi-autonomous function is going to allow the operator, as soon as they come to that autonomous zone, again, you're going to get an audible alarm, you're going to get a visual cue, say take your hands off the wheel. The truck is going to connect to the line as soon as it can, and then it's going to navigate up the line all without the operator doing anything, and all they're doing is managing the accelerator pedal. And then when it gets to the end of the line, it's going to say, okay, mission's complete, please take control of the truck, and then they drive off.
That's fascinating. Your cycle times are the same, roughly the same.
Consistency.
You're evening your wear out, evening fuel burnout.
Taking away the abuse and the things that happen in the machines. We just influence the machines that way, unfortunately.
Because that's one of the most interesting things about autonomy, is it just evens the wear of the machine completely out.
It's just like a big machine altogether.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, it was really good to meet you.
All the best, man.
Yeah, that we saw this machine in Colmar on the assembly line. Can you just explain why you created this size class?
So it's not a creation of the size class. It's just a replacement of an existing model, which is the 9250. And
really?
The 9250 we had, the market launch was in 2006. And now I would say 16 years after, you have to come with something new, I would say. And we didn't create something new, we just wanted to replace this machine.
Okay.
The question was just, do we use the 9250 as a base machine and to make some evolutions, or do we start from something new? On the 9250 there were some technical solutions which were being implemented in 2006. We were not really happy with that. So we said, okay, in the same time, today's supply chain is a very important thing. The reduction of the costs, especially for the customer, is also something very important.
Yeah.
And because the 9250 ton class is working sometimes with the 200 ton class, in the same mindset, they're using the same trucks. It's easier for them if you have a parts commonality. They're always asking, yeah, can we reuse the same parts? So what we made with this machine is we have took the 9200 as a base, and we just upgraded the 9200 to create the 9300. So it's a completely new machine. All the structural components are completely reinforced for handling the extra power and the extra forces.
Yeah.
But after the complete powertrain, engine, coupling, splitter box, and pumps, it's exactly the same as the 9200, one-to-one.
Really?
Different bearings on some places, but the part numbers can be reused on the 9200, or the 9200 components can be reused on the 9300.
Wow. And then the 9250 no longer
will be finished. We have just an overlapping phase, that's why we are presenting the machine now, but the market introduction will be in 2024, because we have a couple of 9250 which are already started to be assembled in the factory, exactly, and we want to sell this, because if you start now to sell this directly, the guy will say, yeah, the 9250, keep it for you.
Yeah.
So we have to have this overlapping phase, but it's not a problem. We have, this is number 3. The first machine you saw, it's the prototype. Now we are just installing the Tier 4 engines and the facial configuration. The machine number 2 is the field test machine. It's already in Indonesia working.
Really?
Since a couple of weeks. Yeah. Wow. And this is the number 3, and this machine will also go to Indonesia or in Australia after the fair.
For coal in Indonesia?
Indonesia, it's coal. For Australia, it's iron ore or lithium.
It's a nice machine.
It's really nice.
Is the cab new? Or is
the cab is the same as the 9200, but the layout inside is completely different.
Really?
So if we can go, we can have a look.
Yeah.
So the grease tank is here.
Oh.
So you can refill it from the service flap. It's going through a filter after we have just a check valve.
Oh, so where you service, where you fuel it, you can fill it with grease as well.
You can refuel, you can put fueling, all the oils, all the grease, and then also the coolant.
And it greases itself as it works. And then this is fire suppression.
That's fire suppression system. So we have a dual agent. You have powder and foam. That's why if you're looking after, you have always 2 different colors for the nozzles, because you have the special nozzles for the powder and the special nozzles for the foam.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah.
Do you always have to have both?
Yes.
Really?
Yeah. That's because we are doing the system with Ansel, and today that's the state of the art. They are thinking now to combining both to have only one system because it's much cheaper.
Yeah.
But today we have this dual system.
Wow. So this is the fire suppression right here. So this is probably the powder. So this will put the fire out. And then this is the foam to reduce the temperature, as he explained.
So here we have the valve bank. So now you have a lots of new sensors coming because that's the Generation 8 machine. All the sensors are used for the assistance systems and also the...
So this is a sensor?
This is a sensor. It's a pressure sensor.
Ah.
Here a pressure sensor, here you have one.
Oh yeah, they're all over.
Exactly.
So what are the sensors for?
It's to see what are the different pressures going inside of the different valve banks. Because we are monitoring this one, but we are also using the signals, for example, to adapt the hydraulic on what the operator is doing. Because this machine has a positive control.
Yeah.
So it's another way of using the hydraulic. Before, the pumps were always delivering the maximum flow possible.
Yeah.
And after, you had just a regulation in the valve bank. That means if you're just asking for 30%, you have 70% which is just missed in heat and going back to the tank. So you are using a lot of power from the engine for nothing. So now it's in the opposite way. We are displacement of the spool, and after we are just giving the angle of the pump what is needed.
So does the machine adjust on its own?
Yeah.
Or you have to look at the data and then go in and adjust it?
No, it's completely transparent.
Oh wow! So you get in it and run it, it'll adjust it on its own. I get in it and run it.
Yeah, it's not a problem.
And it'll adjust based on probably material we're moving as well.
we have also exactly it's sensing a little bit what you're doing, and also what you're facing. So, for example, if you have a sticky material, etc., the behavior of the machine will be different.
Wow. And ultimately, it'll perform better and it'll be more efficient.
Exactly. This machine, compared to the 9250, we have 15% less fuel consumption and plus 5% in production.
And that's tier 4?
Tier 4 is coming. No, this one is not tier 4.
Yeah.
But tier 4 it's available, will be available in 2024 for the market launch.
Yeah, once it goes. Wow. All right, let's go to the cab.
2 days before we found the camera with the feet.
Where are those cameras at?
They are located in different places. With CE certified, you have to have one screen with the top view and another screen where you have the normal view. That's mandatory. That's just a small panel where you can start the engine, adjust air conditioning, etc., etc. You have the possibility here to have a wireless projection. So the system is creating a Wi-Fi network. And if you create a Wi-Fi network, you can be outside of the machine and you can connect to the machine. You can see what the guys see on the screen, or you can also navigate in the menu.
No way.
So for example, here I'm just going here. I'm just choosing now Liebherr Hex, so that's the Wi-Fi connection. And after, I just open this page. So if you're scanning this one and you're scanning this one, you can do it. It's just on the phone.
So that's the exact.
It's exact. So now if I'm going here, you see, 72%, 44, 45 degrees.
So now you can be the boss, pull up in your pickup truck,
exactly,
and start yelling at me over the radio.
You can exactly see what the guy did in the previous hours, etc. So it's completely independent, because if I'm moving in the menus here, it doesn't change the menus here. So for the guy, it's completely transparent.
That's amazing. Nice.
What's happening?
So what's happening right now is they have 4 demos every day. This is the second demo, the noon demo. We are going to see the T274 raise and lift and lower the bed. And then we are on the 9300. We're going to be in the cab during the demo, watching them lift the bucket, wiggle it around, and see all those people over there be like, ooh, ah, wow, big machine.
Ooh, it's moving.
Ooh, wow. Are you running it?
Yep. Nice.
I can do the demo if you want to have a beer.
We believe it.
He just started it. He's out there raising the ladder right now. Scooping that air. Make sure you get full buckets. So that was the Liebherr Mining 9300 demonstration. Not sure how we weaseled our way into the cab, but it's good timing, I guess.
Right time.
Yeah, right place, right time.
Ja. Besuch da oben, das ist ja schon eine richtige Attraktion geworden.